Hey YouTube, I'm RP, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to show you how to test which paints and primers. I'm going to try these out, see which ones are going to work best for my suit. Let's jump in, get started. So there are a lot of different products out on the market, a lot of different primers. I've used some Rust-Oleum, and I might even have some right back here. This is actually gloss, but it looks like this. It's a white primer, 2 times coat, double coat. It's great primer, but I had a little bit of trouble with it. I was gunking up my sandpaper. I don't know if you can see that, but it kind of gunked up a little bit. This I found, which is a Rust-Oleum sandable primer. And I've got 3 different colors: white, gray, and black. I've heard this product adheres really well, and it also sands really well. I'm also going to use these 3 colors for my suit. This is a metallic gold finish, and this is going to cover the entire suit. And the reason I'm going to do that is because this Duplicolor metal cast is amazing paint. This comes out so shiny, glossy red. I've got a test piece that I did with it. I'll show it to you a little bit later. But this needs a metallic finish, silver or gold. And since I'm going to have gold on the suit, I decided to go with this Rust-Oleum metallic gold finish. And then I'm going to top it off with the Duplicolor 1K clear coat, high gloss. Now, some of these paints, like this metallic finish, tell you not to put on a sealer or a gloss finish. I just happened to test this on a test piece, and it worked perfectly. Where I was getting some problems is when I sprayed the test piece gold, and I went to tape off the gold to spray some parts red. The tape pulled off some of the gold. So I'm going to try this different primer to make sure that it adheres better. It's got better adhesion, and we'll put some of this on here and see how it goes. Okay. We're going to try this. It's not so bad out here in terms of temperature. Right now it's almost 50 degrees. Yeah, there's snow on the ground, but it's warm enough to do this. Read the instructions on the can, because this is really going to tell you the best conditions to paint in. I'm going to put a white, a gray, and a black coat of primer on this test piece. I've got 3 different strips. Then I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to come back. I'm going to spray the whole thing gold, and then I'm going to test it with the painter's tape, and I'm going to put painter's tape on there and see if it pulls it off. Let's see how this goes. Okay, I can already tell you that this product is so much easier to work with than this. This is a great product, but it's a little finicky. It takes longer to dry. It's a little more difficult for post work. This is amazing. This is almost dry, and I just spray painted this. I think I'm going to go ahead and tape off this side. Going to go right to the next color, tape that off, go right to the next. This isn't going to take much time at all. Okay, there we have it. There's the white, the gray, and the black. Now, I did not sand this piece before I primed it. Just a test piece. What I'm really trying to test here is the gold going to stick onto this primer and accept painter's tape. I picked up the frog tape that is the delicate version of frog tape, and I hear that this works pretty well. So we're going to let this dry a few hours. We're going to give it its max dry time. Again, read the back of the directions. The max dry time on this 2 to 4 hours. But, you know, this will be dry to the touch in the next 30 minutes to an hour. We'll let this dry. We'll come back. We'll put on some of this gold. We're going to let that gold dry for at least 8 hours. I just want to make sure that it sticks. And then we're going to do the test of the painter's tape to see if everything sticks. Because ultimately, this red does not like painter's tape. Once this red goes onto that gold and you put tape on that red, it's going to pull the red off. So what we're testing here is we put on the gold, make sure the gold doesn't come off so that we can spray everything gold, because that's going to be the metallic base for the red. What we want to keep gold, we'll tape off. What we want to make red, we'll leave exposed. And then we will put the red on, and then that way the red never comes in contact with tape. So that's the theory. We'll see if this works. Another thing, guys, that I failed to mention is get yourself a respirator. It's critical. I use this when I'm painting. I even use this when I'm down here just hanging out in this room, because PLA, it's not toxic, but it's not great to breathe in. So I'm down here when my printer's going with a respirator. I just barely came down here, so I haven't put the respirator on. I've also got, let me show you here. I've also got a air filter that's running just to keep the air constantly circulated and filtered. And there's a filter down here that keeps everything nice and filtered for me. So safety is key. So make sure you like all the, that's courtesy of my daughter. Make sure you've got all of the you know, safety features, the mask, everything you need to keep safe.
All right, guys. So here we have the sprayed test piece. We have black Rust-Oleum sandable primer here. We have gray Rust-Oleum sandable primer under this layer, and then everything on this side is white. This is the white sandable Rust-Oleum. This is the gray, and this is the black. These two pieces are just tape. So what I've done is I've put some of this frog tape, and you can see it pulls up a little because it's the delicate tape. And I did test this, and if I rip this off really fast, it's going to pull up the paint. But I noticed that if I gently remove this, and just be very, very gentle and slow. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a little bit of a shimmer. I mean, you can see just a little bit, but it did not damage the surface. So that is the black. Let's test the gray. Again, I don't know if I can see that in the light. Hardly anything. That's the gray. Let's test the white. Nothing. So this is good news. Just a little bit of a sheen, and this tape, it's amazing, but it is going to lift up on you. So before you spray this, make sure that this is stuck down pretty well. Otherwise you could have some bleed over issues. And what I do is I take the back end of my X-Acto blade and I just snug it up into that corner and go all the way around. So this is good news. The tape is going to be a little bit interesting. That's going to be finicky, But I also, just so you know, when I put those on, I push them in pretty good. You can tell I didn't do any prep work here. So the reason this is all bumpy is because I didn't pre-sand. This is just sprayed with primer, sprayed with gold metallic Rust-Oleum, and I, you know, when I do my actual suit, I'm going to spend a lot more time to get, you know, a better finish. Now you can see when I said the red pulled off earlier, that's exactly what it does. If you put tape on the red, it's going to pull off. But yeah, so looks like the test worked. Now we have to figure out the tactics to get everything set up.
All right, I have put on the metal cast paint on top of the gold underlayer. And if you remember, what we have here is the black sandable primer, the gray sandable primer, and everything over here is the white sandable primer. The metal cast on top of each of these did very interesting things. You can see the black starting to come through on the red metal cast paint. Here you can see a little bit of the gray, but when you look at this white, it's a little bit light on the coat at the top, so that's easily fixable by just putting on another coat. But this came out so amazing, and that frog tape worked brilliantly. It didn't pull up the gold, it kept a nice clean line. Now, I didn't do post-production work on any of this, so you'll see layer lines. That I'll address in a different video on how to get rid of those, but I think I've got my colors. I know exactly what we're going to use here. Some of these clear coats will work with some of these metallic paints. You just have to try it out. There's no other way. So these are all test prints, and through all of this testing, I have come, I think, to a really good color scheme, and I think we're going to have some luck here. So hopefully this was helpful and gives you an idea of how you can test out some of your colors, but this process applies to anything that you're painting. Go through, test the different primers, test them for their durability, their sandability, test the different colors that will be base coat, top coat. Do they play well together? Hopefully you got some good advice out of this video. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and appreciate you watching. Have a good one.